Years ago, I dated a man who owned a bar and I worked there. One night we closed up and were leaving around 3 a.m. We were parked next to each other, and as soon as he opened the door, he discovered a man sleeping in the back seat. We tried to wake him and checked that he was okay, and he eventually decided he was just trying to sleep in. We appreciated that he did not drive, even it was weird to choose someone else's car. We were just glad a customer of ours didn't hurt anyone. So my boyfriend suggested we go in my car, go out to breakfast at an all-night dinner, and then come back. He assumed he could wake the guy by then and gave him a ride wherever he needed to go. So we went to breakfast, took a good long time hanging out, and went back to car close to sunrise. The man still wouldn't wake up. I frankly just wanted to call the police, but my boyfriend still didn't want to get the guy in trouble. He decided he was just going to bring his car home with the man in it, and he would just get out whenever he felt like. In retrospect, this plan seems even dumber than I found it at the time. Well, we happened to live in a downtown apartment very close to the police department. We parked in an alley behind our apartment that backed up to the side door of the police department. We went home as usual and the guy was gone when we got up. The very next evening, this man showed up at the bar again. One would think he would take a night off, but no. Since he was obviously okay and no harm had come to him, I thought the whole thing was funny and thought he would find it funny too. "Hey, you are the guy that was asleep in my boyfriend's car," with a big smile. The smile dropped off of this guy's face. He looked absolutely livid. He snarled, "Are you the bitch who left me at the police department? You think you are funny?" And then he lunged over the bar, grabbing for me. The place was crawling with the bouncers, so they got him and hauled him out before he could get me. But it scared me to death. I woke up today and had the weirdest dream. I thought nothing of it and got ready for school. But something strange happened today. Everyone looked so gloomy and they kept staring at my desk. But not me. I told them I was right there, but nobody listened. After school, I brushed off the strange morning and I went to the store. I wanted some chips, but when I got to the counter, the lady looked around and then put the chips back. I waved at her face, but she ignored it. I walked out mad and didn't think about it any further. Why is everyone ignoring me today? I walked home today because I didn't feel like taking my bus. Huge amounts of police cars blazed through the streets. I wonder who they are chasing. And then an ambulance. As I got closer to my street, the police car and ambulance were parked at my house. I went to see what was going on and saw myself laying on the burner, barely holding for dear life. They had me strapped down and put on an oxygen tank. I felt confused. I was right there, but at the same time, I wasn't. I ran to my mom and dad and told them, "I'm right here." But mom kept on crying while dad comforted her. "I'm scared. I just want to hug mom again. I can't die like this." This happened in 1989. I had given birth to my son early in the morning. The day before, I had lost a fair bit of blood, but had been walking at least once by then, so wasn't too dopey. My son was sleeping in his bassinet next to my bed. A nurse I hadn't seen before came into my room and grabbed one end of the bassinet and started to pull it away. I grabbed the other end and said, "What are you doing?" She said she was taking him away for his blood tests. Now, I happened to be a registered nurse and I knew what sort of things were done to newborns, and he already had his tests. I pointed to Band-Aid on his nail and said he already had his tests. "So what sort of test are you talking about?" And she muttered something about not being sure, but there was some test he needed. I maintained my fast hold on the bassinet and told her to find out what test and then let me know. She went away and never came back, and honestly, I was so out of it, I never even thought to mention to anyone. But the fact is, several babies had been taken that summer by imposters dressed in uniform, so I will never know for sure, but I felt like we dodged a bullet. I am a young lady and I currently live alone. My apartment complex is on the outskirts of downtown, where some homeless resides, making it sketchy to go outside at night or alone in general. Call me ballsy. I am currently super sick and have lost my voice and potentially my strength to fight anyone off. Therefore, I have been locked up in my princess tower, taking care of myself. Last night, after binge watching Netflix, I peacefully fell asleep on my couch. 3:30 a.m. rolls around and I hear someone knocks on my door. This didn't wake me up immediately, but what did was this person walking to the next door and knocking. No sense of urgency. Then go to the next door and the next and the next until they go upstairs. At this point, I woken up in a pool of sweats and the shakes. I went to my window and saw this person standing in the middle of the stairway, staring at the wall. I'm assuming to hear it, anyone is going to get the door. He goes up the stairs and keeps knocking, calmly and slowly. He then continues to walk on each individual door before coming down the stairs. I moved away from the window so he wouldn't see me and watched him walk outside in the middle of the street and scream. I low-key think I avoided death or some other serious danger, but I wasn't even that scared. I just grabbed my pillow and a blanket and walked my happy ass to bed. I am 20 years old female. Back in the fall, I slept in my car one night when I had to stop in Kingston to rest. I found a completely empty parking lot and managed to fall asleep. The next morning, the first thing I saw was a man who appeared drunk, high, or simply angry. He was across the parking lot, but walking in many general directions. There was nothing but a gate and a forest behind me. The parking lot remained empty, not a single other person inside. It seemed as though he had nowhere else to go other than my car. It got even creepier as he would exchange long glances at me. As he looked all around, he was mumbling under his breath, and I knew he had spotted me. At first, I froze and just watched to see what would happen. The more he stared and the closer he got. However, my flight response kicked in. I had no idea, but a feeling of absolute creeped over me, and I knew I had to get away. So I jumped in my front seat and started the car and immediately drove off. As I did, he tried to get a little bit closer to my car once more and turned to watch me as I left. To this day, I have no idea what his intentions were and how he knew I wasn't there in first place.